Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship Information session. My name is Abby Segura, and I serve as your CSUF Study Abroad Advisor and also as your Gilman Advisor. Um, Before we start, just wanted to remind everybody that this scholarship is only available for undergrad students. So if you're a graduate student, unfortunately, this doesn't apply to you. I've had students in the past sit through the whole presentation and then they realize that it's not applicable for them because they're grad students. So I just wanted to make sure that we clarify that at the start. And the info session for today is for the March 5th deadline. So yes, we'll talk about it later. Gilman will open again mid-August for an October deadline, but the one that's currently open is what we call the March 5th deadline cycle. So this is our agenda for today. We're talking about what the Gilman Scholarship is, eligibility, what the application process looks like. We're going to go over the essay prompts because this scholarship does have 4 short essays you need to submit. We're going to go over some application tips, resources, and at the very end, we will have time for Q&A. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I'll make sure to come back to them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so um, just double checking. Okay. So the Gilman Scholarship is a scholarship that is organized by the U.S. Department of State. And through this scholarship, students can earn up to $5,000. And it's going to be students that demonstrate financial need. So that's why one of the requirements is that you are a Pell Grant recipient. And in order to be considered for this study abroad scholarship, you need to be studying abroad for academic credit. So that could be any amount of credit. We have students that are going abroad and earning 1 unit. We have students that are going abroad full time for a semester or a whole year, as long as your program is for credit. So, a quick snapshot of the Gilman Scholars. So, this current application cycle, it includes or it encompasses study abroad programs or internships abroad happening during these cycles. So, if you are going abroad or planning to go abroad during these cycles, you can submit an application. So, that includes summer 2026. I know we have a lot of faculty-led programs this summer 26, fall 26, academic year 26, 27, and this cycle even includes spring 27. So I know that at Cal State Fullerton, our applications are not yet open for spring 27, but if you already can identify what program you're applying for in a few months, you can already go ahead and submit the scholarship application. So with that, you don't need to be accepted to a program in order to apply. And scholarships can be anywhere up to $5,000, though the amount can range. So, what I've seen in the past few cycles is that usually the faculty-led programs, because they are short term, they tend to be awarded less. So, I've seen anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 for those programs. And the ones that are awarded a bit more are the ones that are semester or year long. Either way, it's a pretty good amount of funding, especially like those faculty-led ones. That amount can potentially fund your whole program fee. So some data on Gilman scholars. 100% of Gilman scholars are Pell Grant recipients. About 50 are first-gen college students. 70% plus come from small towns. And they come from 1,300 plus US campuses, including two-year colleges from all 50 states. And students that are selected for the Gilman Scholarship do represent many different careers and majors. But this just goes to show that these stats are representative of Gilman's goals. So, like getting first-gen students to study abroad, um, representing all backgrounds in terms of majors, careers, and Pell Grant recipients. So what do Gilman scholars do? So, Gilman scholars are either studying abroad or interning abroad in over 170 countries, and the student is you're the one choosing the destination. And it does have to be a program for credit. Um, you can also apply for supplemental funding, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. There's two options. There's a critical need language supplemental essay and a STEM field coursework essay that you could submit. The great thing about Gilman is that there is no minimum program length, so that's why we promote it so much here at Cal State Fullerton because um, technically, I think any program that goes abroad for credit is eligible for this scholarship. If you recently applied for the Fund for Education Abroad, you notice that they require that your program be at least 14 days long. With Gilman, there is no program length. And they do also have a component where upon your return, you are expected to deliver a follow-on service project, and we'll talk more about that later on. There are some benefits, in addition to the funding, there are some additional benefits to being a Gilman Scholar. You will be part of a Gilman Alumni Network, and through this network, you will be invited to career workshops, networking events. As a Gilman Scholar, there will be special events and seminars you're invited to. You even have the opportunity to be an alumni ambassador. So they have a pretty large ambassador program where you get to represent Gilman nationwide, and you could be a guest speaker, you get invited to attend special events, and you also have access to the Gilman Scholars Network, which is an online platform where Gilman alumni can connect and that share different resources, job opportunities, and more. So about the program or scholarship, um, like I mentioned, it is a U.S. Department of State scholarship. And really, the main goal here is encouraging and for students to engage in cultural exchange. So um, that is, I won't read the mission statement and all, but you have that information here. And eligibility for the scholarship. So the Gilman Scholarship does require that you be a U.S. citizen or national. I recently attended one of their updates workshop, and they did clarify that if you are currently in the process of becoming nationalized, you can still go ahead and apply. I know that question has come up in the past. You must be an undergraduate student, so unfortunately, this is not a scholarship available to grad students, but only undergraduate students. And you must be a federal Pell Grant recipient. So this can be either during the time of you submitting the application or while you're abroad. So the federal Pell Grant is a type of grant that you're awarded through your financial aid. If you're not sure if you get that Pell Grant, you can go into your CSUF Study Abroad portal, go to your financial aid section, and it'll be one of the grants listed under your financial aid award package. So it'll be titled Pell Grant. So if you see that listed on there, then great, you qualify. Program requirements in order to be eligible for the scholarship. The program must be for credit. So like I said, it could be a 1 unit, it could be a 12-unit program, but as long as the program, you're earning some type of credit for participating in the program. It must be in a country or area with a travel advisory level 1 or 2. So you'll find more information on the travel.gov website. But this is a rating pretty much that the government has set in terms of safety. So Gilman will only consider programs that are a level 1 or 2. If you're not sure what the country of your program is listed as, you can look at the travel.gov website. In general, though, CSUF programs, they are also taking this into account. So it is very rare where we offer a program that is a level 3 or 4. And there is no program length requirement. So, like I mentioned earlier, this is great because this means that students doing the short-term programs in the summer, like the faculty led, they're anywhere from 1 to 4 week long. Those programs qualify semester, year long. So, it doesn't matter how long the program is as long as it's for credit. And there is a separate scholarship that is available through the Gilman, and sometimes students confuse it with the Benjamin Gilman Scholarship, but there is also the Gilman McCain Scholarship. So this is pretty much think about it as like a separate branch of the Gilman Scholarship where it is only available to students who are children or spouses, dependents of active or activated service members. So all the requirements are the same as the Gilman Scholarship, just that you have to be a dependent of an active or activated um, military service member. And they are a bit more open when it comes to the financial need. So as long as you are able to show proof that during time of application or your time abroad, you will be getting Title IV federal financial aid. Otherwise, all the rest of the requirements are the same as the Gilman Scholarship. And then the Gilman Scholarship does give you an opportunity to apply for two supplemental awards. So one of them is the Critical Need Language Award, and with this award, you can receive up to $3,000 if you study a critical need language. So the language must be one of the ones that is listed on the screen here. So if your program, if you can make the case that one of the main reasons why you're studying abroad is to become proficient in one of the languages listed here, then you should definitely go ahead and submit the additional essay for this award. We have had a student receive it in the past, so they were abroad for a year and they hit, I think, the max. I think they were awarded $6,000 total. They applied for South Korea. Yeah, so just making the case, right, that the program, one of the main reasons why you're doing this program is to become a proficient in the language. And this also includes sign language as well. So if that's one of your focuses, definitely go ahead and apply for the Supplemental Critical Need Language Award. The other opportunity for supplemental awards is the STEM co coursework award. So for this award, you can get up to an additional $1,000 if you can demonstrate that your program has a strong emphasis on STEM related coursework. Um, so same thing, showing that your program has coursework in STEM, and there is going to be an additional essay you would submit if you want to be considered for this. So how to apply? So if you've already opened the application, you've already seen like there's quite a bit that goes into it. So we'll break it down today. But really, the application requirement, you want to look at it in two major sections. So one of them is the actual student application that you're working on, and the other part is going to be the advisor certification. So what you're all working on right now is part one. So this is where you're providing your program information. There's the four short essays that you're writing out. At this level, at this phase, you only need unofficial transcripts and choosing your advisors to certify applications. So at the very end, you'll be asked to indicate who your study abroad advisor is and who your financial aid advisor is for certification. Once you submit your application, the rest is out of your hands. It'll be something that is uh, completed by myself as your study abroad advisor and by someone on the financial aid advising team. So, a quick note on advisor certifications. When you're asked to select a study abroad advisor, I should be the only advisor listed on that drop-down menu. So, you would select my name, Abigail Segura, and I will receive an automated notice that your application has been submitted, that it's ready to be certified. We have, I believe it's until March 12th to submit your certifications. So just a heads up, you don't need to notify me, let me know, hey, I submitted it, when are you certifying? Or hey, just reminding you again. No need to do that because the Gilman Advisor Portal will be sending me almost daily reminders until I certify your apps. So please rest assured that we are aware that your application won't be considered unless we certify it. So it is priority for myself and for the financial aid team to certify applications. When you go to the financial aid advisor menu, drop-down menu, you're going to see quite a few advisors. You can select any of the advisors you see listed on there. So a lot of times students will ask me, oh, I don't know who my designated financial aid advisor is. No problem. You can select any of the advisors listed on there because they're all designated to certify applications. So go ahead and choose whichever one you want to on that drop down. Same thing, you don't need to notify financial aid to give them a heads up that you've submitted your app, you need certification, because they are also getting constant reminders of all the applications we have to certify. So this next part, we're going to dive into the essays. So there's four short essays, and I know it seems like a lot. They are very short, so as you can see, 500 words max for each one. But just because they're short, it is crucial that you really are doing your best in using that small space to really answer the prompts. So we're going to go over each prompt just to break it down and hopefully make it less intimidating. But here are the four essays. We'll start with essay number one. So this is motivations for studying or interning abroad. So 500 words max. And with this essay, you want to make a case for why your study abroad or academic experience would contribute to your future academic or career goals. So this is something that you're going to already be practicing through your study abroad program applications. We're always trying for students to think more in a larger picture, right? So why are you willing to invest your money, your time, your efforts in a study abroad program, and how this experience is really going to help you develop your academic and your career goals. So really showing the Gilman Committee that you've done your research, this program really serves a purpose in you reaching your academic and career goals. So with this, we want to stay away from the cliche terms of I've always wanted to travel. I want to immerse myself in a new culture. I understand. Yes, that's great. I know that that naturally comes with study abroad, but Gilman really wants to see that you've done your research, you put t time into really planning your study abroad program decision and how it's fitting into your larger goals. And why did you select your specific program or internship and host country? So same along the lines, right? Not only showcasing um, how you're going to benefit towards your academics and career goals, but also really showing that you've done the research in why you're going to this specific country. For example, I mean, you could take a marketing class here at Cal State Fullerton. Why are you choosing to go to South Korea, Korea University specifically, right? So really showcasing, well, Korea University is, prestigious. It's like the Harvard of South Korea, right? So really showing that you know more about their program, the why or what is the uniqueness of taking marketing in South Korea, for example. So that's what we're showcasing here in 500 words. The next one is essay number two, knowledge and skill development through studying and interning abroad. Also 500 words max. Through this essay, you want to describe specific examples in which your knowledge, skills, and/or experiences, so this could be academic, professional, extracurricular, volunteer experiences, how have they equipped you to effectively adapt and to succeed in your host country? So pretty much what this means is what skills are you bringing that will help you be a successful study abroad student? So we, I mean, possibilities here are endless. Think about, right, your experiences growing up, any challenges you've overcome, how you've grown from those experiences, and how you've developed certain skills that will now make you a successful student abroad. And what specific knowledge and skills do you hope to develop through your experience abroad? So again, showcasing, yes, like I have these skills that'll make me a successful student abroad, but going abroad is also going to help me even develop further these other areas, right? So um, think about it again, just overall. What skills do you bring that'll make you a successful study abroad student? Essay number three, representing America abroad and hometown impact essays. So this essay is, I think, one of the ones that students get a bit stuck on. It's hard to think about like where to start, but here what Gilman wants to see is how you're representing America or what it means to be an American while you're abroad. So describe your plans and strategies for engaging your host community and showcasing what it means to be an American. Um, One question that I've gotten recently is like, oh, well, there's a lot going on right now in the US, and I don't know if I want to like proudly um, demonstrate that. So it's okay. I think here what we're trying to put on or bring out in the essays is think about like what things you are proud of and what things represent you as an American and how you're going to showcase that when you're interacting with local communities abroad, when you're interacting with students at your host university. For those of you doing faculty-led programs, you'll be interacting with small businesses or nonprofits. Like when you're experiencing that, what are you doing to showcase or educate others of what it is to be an American. And that's totally this is also coming from your personal experience, right? So 500 words max. Um, and yeah. And again, I'll at the end I'll be offering a few days and times where we could meet so that we could go over this together. And the last essay is the follow-on service project essay. So this is also 500 words max. And this essay, think about it as a proposal. So what Gilman is saying is if we give you the scholarship, in return, you have to go ahead and help us promote Gilman, uh, and showcase your study abroad experience so that you can motivate others to study abroad. So, through this essay, you want to talk about how you plan to leverage and share the knowledge and skills gained overseas on return to the US. How will you raise awareness of the value of study abroad and highlight support available through the Gilman program? You also want to identify who your primary audience is for this project. So, I think my key tips for this essay is you want to be as specific as possible. So, think about communities, groups that you're involved with. It doesn't have to be on campus. It could be in your local community or the community you grew up in. Think about places where you wish they knew about Gilman or where you wish they knew more about study abroad. Think about those spaces and what you can do to share your knowledge about study abroad, about Gilman. It's a proposal. So sometimes, a lot of times, students will come to me like very stressed out, like, oh, I haven't contacted the that next resource center to ask if I could do this one event with them. It's okay. At this point, it's just a proposal, right? But what Gilman wants to see as well is how realistic is it? So the you want to write or propose something that is feasible. You really want to make sure that you are straight to the point, specific, and really showing and it's almost like an outline. When I come back, I'll do this. This is the population, my target audience. So think about those populations that Gilman um, is seeking to increase participation in study abroad. So like first gen, transfer students, uh, veterans, right? So look at their website for more inspiration. And possibilities, again, are endless here. I've seen the common are students proposing a blog, um, social media, like those are the common ones, which is great. But I've seen one of the students that got awarded, she was an art major. She went to Denmark. Her take on it was mental health and study abroad. And they did a jewelry piece connecting all of this. And it was showcased at the TSU, and they were one of the recipients. And I think one of the reasons why is because that is that was a very um, unique example of a proposal with a very target audience. And she was very clear about what her proposal was going to be, timeline, audience. But it was also something that I've never seen other than her submission. So it doesn't have to be just an info session, a website. There's really you can be creative with this. So some final essay tips. You want to tell your story. Um, this is your only chance for the committee to know more about you. Be specific. Don't just say you want to learn about culture. Explain how you'll engage, what you will do, what it means to you. Show growth. So in that essay number two is your chance to really showcase your resilience, your adaptability, what experiences you've had that have helped you develop these skills that will now make you a successful study abroad student. Use active language. I will, I plan to, I learned, rather than vague passive phrasing. And it is, I think, the best essays that I've seen come through are the ones that um, connect all four essays. So we see a flow from essay one to essay two, right? So a most recent awardee. They were a business major and they were very involved in fashion. Um, so that came through in the essays, and then the follow-on service project was specifically connected to their community college fashion club and showcasing study abroad in Gilman. So everything flowed, and that is also something to keep in mind so that you can really seek or you're really showcasing the motivation through across all four essays. With the critical need language essay, again, this is an optional one. So if you choose to apply for this supplemental award, it's a shorter essay. It's 300 words max, but here uh, you're mainly showing how your program is going to help you become more proficient in that targeted language, how you plan to develop your language skills. So really making the case for why the study abroad program will help you become more fluent in the language. And then the STEM supplemental award, also optional, is only 300 words max, summarizing how your program has STEM-related coursework and how it's going to contribute to your overall academic and career goals in STEM. When you're working on your application, please double check the requirements. Make sure you're answering all the prompt questions and following the word limit, formatting. Work with your advisor. So I'm a resource to you. I'll be sharing drop-ins just to help with applications and essays. But also, there is the Writing Center. This is the type of application where you'll really benefit from having multiple people read your essays. So the Writing Center, maybe you have a professor that can review your essays, friends. It's definitely one of those applications you don't want to rush. You really want to go through multiple drafts, really take your time, ask someone to proofread, go to the Writing Center, get feedback. Whenever students come to me, I'm also very transparent that I'm looking at the content. So, I served once on the Gilman panel and I reviewed, I think, 60 or 70 applications. So it's been really helpful because I have insight into what the Gilman committee is looking into. So I'll focus on the content. But if you need more on like grammar, format, then the Writing Center would be your go-to. So this is an overview of selection criteria. So when you're working on your essays, I would recommend that you keep these things in mind, right? What are they looking for? So they're looking for the impact of the program and the destination on your academic and career trajectory. How prepared are you for study abroad? Representing America and your follow-on service project. And for the supplemental essays, just making sure, right, that you're really showing that commitment to the language or to the STEM field. Some other tips that I've included here, It's great that you're all here today so that shows me that you're not waiting last minute to prepare for this application. As you've seen, a lot goes into it. It is a lot, but it's totally worth it. Start the application now. Be your truest self. Have confidence that you are worthy. A lot of times students will hesitate to talk about themselves in their in essay number one and number two, but keep in mind it's the only chance that the committee has to know more about you. So don't hold back. Your experiences are yours. You're not pulling the whatever card. Like they're your experiences and they've helped build who you are now as a student, as a professional. So don't be afraid to do that. For your follow-on service project, think about your community, your local schools. It doesn't have to be just Cal State Fullerton. It could be Cal State Fullerton, but again, keep in mind you want to be specific, right? Think about how you heard about the Gilman Scholarship and how you could tell others about it. Don't rush your submission for this application. So today is your first step, right? After this, I recommend you really like go into the application, see what's going to be required of you. Use all your resources. I'll be sharing the drop-in hours later, but have multiple people review it. So it's the students that do this I see are the ones that are more likely to get awarded just because it really does help, right? To have multiple drafts, have multiple people see your essays. And lastly, if you don't apply, you'll never get it. So another thing that I hear often is, oh, I have insight into how many apps in the system are for in our study abroad application system, and there's about 500 of you that are Pell Grant recipients. So I know that a lot of our students do qualify for this scholarship, but I've had students come in and tell me, "Oh, well, what are the chances of me getting it, right? Why even apply?" Well, now you'll never know. And if you are awarded, you saw all the benefits. It's a pretty large amount of funding you can get, so go for it. And this applies for all scholarships. And if you are participating on a faculty-led program, so I know most of them are happening in the summer, one thing that I highly recommend is that when you're writing your essays, you are referencing your program itinerary. You have this advantage where um you can be very like explicit about specific experiences that you'll be engaging in while you're abroad that'll really show the Gilman committee like, hey, like on this program I'm going to this one company visit, Lamborghini in Italy, and like this is how I'll benefit from it. These are the skills that I'll further develop. So you have that advantage that you have concrete examples of what you're doing on that program, the connections you're making with your academics and your career goals. If you don't have access to it, you can always reach out to your faculty lead, your professor to ask for more information. But otherwise, I know most of them have them posted on the actual program website. And I think that's why for this cycle, we do get a lot of our awardees are from faculty-led programs. So use this to your advantage. So application deadlines. On this slide, we have the current application cycle, which is the May 26, 2026 cycle, but then also just a heads up that the Gilman will be available again. It opens mid-August, but for now, let's focus on the May one. So applications are currently open. They do close on March 5th at 11:59 p.m. Mark your calendars. Please be aware of this deadline. Again, this is a uh, nationwide scholarship. Our office has zero possibility of extending your deadlines. I've had students in the past write to me asking, hey, can I get an extension? I have zero access to that. So please make sure you're submitting it online on time. And advisors, so myself as a study abroad advisor, and then the financial aid advisors, we have until March 12th to submit your certifications. So that's why, don't worry if it's March 6th and we haven't submitted your certification. Um, Please rest assured that we'll get it in by March 12th. And lastly, decisions are announced in May. So the main takeaway here is that especially for like those summer programs. A lot of you are leaving either like late May or after May, right? Um, when it comes to the Gilman Scholarship, we can't depend on these funds for paying for program fees or tuition because a lot of your program payments would have come would have been due by May, right? So I've unfortunately have had students in the past who are waiting to submit a deposit or a payment because they're waiting for the Gilman scholarship. I wish I could guarantee that all applicants would be awarded, but unfortunately, with any scholarship, right, it's not guaranteed funding. So you really want to make sure you have a plan A for funding your program. And if you are awarded, amazing. Icing on the cake. But even then, as you can see here, if you are awarded, it'll probably be more of like a reimbursement at that time, right? Because by that time you would have already booked your flight, paid your program fees, paid tuition. So you always want to have a plan A for funding your programs. So coming to the end here, resources. So Gilman, they have so many resources out there. Uh, I would totally take some time to check out their website, really um, take a look at all the tabs. They have so many resources on there. They have like they even break down each essay, key things you should include in your essays. It also kind of helps you like if you're stuck, like maybe give you some language. Um, they have videos on there. So please, like all that information is public. Make use of it. Um, they also have an email address, so Gilman at iie.org. If you have any questions, you can also call them. Um, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Facebook. They have a YouTube channel, which I think is also another really great resource because they post recordings of past workshops. So you can review those. And some of the recordings I've seen are like they go into each specific essay. So take a look at that. And then Instagram, if you are on Instagram, I highly recommend you follow them because they are in during the application cycle time, they're very active in having Instagram lives where they have their ambassadors do Q&As or give tips. So take a look at that. And then again, reminder, you have access to the CSUF Writing Center. So the students that I see do submit pretty strong applications, are working with multiple parties, right? So they're coming to my drop-ins, working with Writing Center. So don't forget all the resources that are available to you on campus as well. And then I will personally be offering drop-in hours to help you with any questions you may have, or when it comes to the essays, I see that it's more proactive for us to go over them together in person. So these days and times that you see here, I'll be in PLN 120. I'll be available to you if you just want to stop by. It could be like as simple as, hey, I don't know what to answer for this program information question, or hey, I already drafted essay number 1 and 2. Can we sit down and take a look at it? So this is your time to come in and really make progress on that. My one-on-one appointments are super booked right now for virtual appointments because of our February 15 fall application deadline. So this is really going to be the best place where we can take some time to look at your application. So when you come to that, bring an electronic device. If you are wanting me to look at essays, please have already written a draft or so. And if it's more like you don't know where to start, we could also talk about that. Any questions, concerns you may have. And we are located in the Polak Library on the first floor in PLN 120. So this is right across the Starbucks on the first floor. And then lastly, if you don't follow us, CSUF Abroad on Instagram, highly recommend you follow us there. So we'll be posting reminders of our drop-ins, any other scholarships we're aware of, we'll post on there, application deadline requirements, things like that. If you have any additional questions, this is our Study Abroad office email address. Feel free to email us there. And our location is in PLN 120, like I said. So we do have a front desk team where if you have any quick questions, you can stop by. And I also do offer drop-in advising. So it's on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. In PLN 120. And for this month, I added a few group advising hours. So I'll share that with you after this. Um, but those are all the resources out there. I'm sure there's more, but please know that you're not alone on this application process. I'm your Gilman advisor, so these hours I think are super beneficial for just going over anything related to your Gilman application. And again, the students that I have met with that have taken advantage of these hours are the ones that I see submit very strong applications, and usually a handful of those are the ones selected for the scholarship. Okay, so that's it for my part. I'll go ahead and end it there for the presentation, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, turn on your mic, and if you need to leave the room, that's totally okay. I will be sharing this recording with you and a reminder of the dates that I'll be offering drop-ins. So I'll have a follow-up email sent to all of you. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Y'all got this, and we're here to support you. But yeah, send any questions, drop questions in the chat, and we'll be here a few more minutes. Thank you, everyone. Okay.